Hey, Hound Dogs, I'm David Hankins.
And I'm Paul Hankins.
And welcome to On the Air with Power Squared. If you're tuning in because last week we said we'd be going over Free Comic Book Day issues, oops, we had to look at a calendar and they moved it on us.
Yeah.
Normally it's the first weekend of May, Saturday of May, but they moved it to August.
Yeah.
So we will do that little bit of...
We'll do that then.
Yeah.
But today, we wanted to go over something else.
Yeah, a couple of things that came up during the week and affect our comic book, and we thought we'd pass it on. One of which was we got our issue number 11. As you know, we've been talking about it. It's going to come out soon. And one of the platforms that we've been using is Comixology. They were the first ones to ever publish us, and we've sort of grandfathered them in. So whenever they release it is sort of the release date of the books.
Yeah.
No matter what the platform is, we have to coordinate that with a lot of people. But they rejected us,
Yes.
and not because the work is bad or anything, but because of anti-aliasing, which was something that, as a writer, I'll say I wasn't really familiar with. We had never had that problem before. We basically had followed the same, pattern of taking TIFFs and making them into PDFs and submitting them. In this case, we think that we perhaps submitted a reduced PDF, which may have been the problem. But we got an email that basically talked about the aliasing of lettering, the aliasing of artwork, and other. And they basically said something in there about... It appears chunky. That
It appears alias chunky or not smooth.
This is probably due to an overlooked anti-alias checkbox during the PDF creation. Now, that's great to say. I have no idea where that is in my version of Acrobat. I looked, and anti-aliasing is not mentioned anywhere.
Yeah.
And the version we're using of Adobe is not supported anymore because they want you to be paying $54 a month to lease it, and which we kind of do already for Trevor. But the version I'm using on my computer is a standalone version.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have that anywhere. And so basically we decided that maybe it was just because it was reduced PDF. But if you have no idea what that is, and neither did I, we have a little illustration that we could show you from our artist. Rachel Wells helped us out and took basically the same kind of image from 10 and from 11. And you can see there's like artifacting around the clouds and things like that. So it's we think the result of it being... reduced when we sent it. So basically we're just sort of saying, hey, this could happen to you if you're submitting, and if you do have an anti-aliasing button, definitely use that.
Yeah.
But so we have put up a new PDF onto the website for Comixology submit, and so we're going to submit this live on the air because we know everybody really wants to see us do that. So if you're listening to this, we're hitting a button on the Comixology submission page. So hopefully that's now gone, and we'll hear in a couple weeks that it's going to come out on Wednesday. They give you like 3 days notice or something like that.
Yeah.
So anyway, just kind of give you an update on what's going on with issue number 11 if you're wondering.
Yeah. So it is coming.
Yeah.
For sure.
We wanted to give sort of a shout out to Dirk Brodey's Kickstarter. We had Sean Hall as a guest on the show a while back, and his publisher is one of ours, Artithmeric, out of the UK, and they're doing a Kickstarter for him. So we wanted to at least plug that, and we have a reason for plugging that. Not only because Sean, it's a good work, I think you'll really enjoy the comic book, but Artithmeric is trying something where they want to get into bookstores.
Yeah.
And they realized that Paul and I had a meeting with this week with Andrew Copeland and Steve B. at Artithmeric to discuss kind of this project they're working on and how we could be involved. Basically, what they're trying to do is have sort of these Artithmeric editions, I think is the word they're using, and take like 2 or 3, I guess there's 3 issues of Dirk Brodey, and put it into something that they call a BD over there.
Yeah.
And then try to raise some money creating this, what we would call a trade hardback.
Yeah. Hardcover.
Trade. And so raise some money with that, take that money they raised from that, and then have it translated into other languages, because there's a thriving market for these kind of books in Europe.
Yeah.
And so if you're like, that might be something.
An example they gave was like Tintin has been published that way.
Yeah, and it still sells like hundreds of thousands a year or something, and they actually sell them in bookstores, not specialty comic book stores. It's more accepted, and everybody apparently reads. He was saying that like a big issue in England would be like 5,000 copies, would be huge. There are 100,000 copies.
Yeah.
So it's a bigger market that they're trying to break into. So what they want to do is do a Kickstarter in the English version, then have it translated into, I want to say, French, and Italian and Spanish.
And do it, and then kickstart on those region-specific platforms.
Yeah, it's not Kickstarter; it's another platform they'd be using in Europe.
Yeah.
In those countries, and try to build interest, and then again you'd have a translated copy of your book and of these books in Italian, Spanish, and French, and then be able to sell them in stores there. So it's a really, it sounds like a really great idea.
Yeah, it does.
And so we hopefully, if this all goes well, we'll be one of the next 2 or 3 to get this sort of treatment, I guess.
Yeah, we know we're in the first 6.
Yeah, first 6. We're trying to push it up as close as we can, because we're anxious to have sales. So there may be a Kickstarter in our future, and basically, I think it's going to be taking the first 5 issues and making a Artithmeric edition out of it. And one of the things we're talking about, and we haven't really, I guess, cleared it with them, is maybe going back and we'll call it remastering, at least the dialogue and descriptions, try to maybe make it a little more concise.
While still getting the same point across.
Yeah, we were very wordy in the first few issues until we kind of got our feet.
Yeah,
and
until we got wise.
Yeah, and listened to Alan Moore. So so that might happen. I'm not going to say we're going to definitely do that, but we will definitely, hopefully, be a part of this process in the next few months.
Yeah.
So we will, of course, then harass you to death about the Kickstarter when that comes out. But until then, we do encourage you to check out the Dirk Brodey.
Here it is on the screen again, if you're watching.
Yeah, that's true. You'd be looking for the Lost Empire of the Moon episodes 1 through 3.
Yes.
And he's a good artist, and they're interesting stories. I think would sell very well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's about it.
Yeah.
So a couple updates, and you have the rest of the evening to enjoy. Appreciate it if you're watching.
Yeah. And if you're watching this on YouTube and you like this kind of thing, then like and subscribe to feed the algorithm.
All right. So until next time, I'm David Hankins.
I'm Paul Hankins.
And this has been On the Air with Power Squared.